A year is the orbital period of the Earth moving in its orbit around the Sun. Due to the Earth's axial tilt, the course of a year sees the passing of the seasons, marked by changes in weather, the hours of daylight, and consequently vegetation and fertility. In temperate and subpolar regions, generally 4 seasons are recognized: spring, summer, autumn and winter. In seasonal tropical and subtropical regions, the wet season and the dry season are generally recognized. A calendar year is an approximation of the Earth's orbital period in a given calendar. The Gregorian calendar considers a calendar year to be either a common year of 365 days, or a leap year of 366 days. The average year length across the complete leap cycle of the Gregorian calendar is 365.2425 days. ISO 80000-3, in an informative annex, proposes the symbol A to represent a year of either 365 or 366 days. In English, the abbreviations Y and year are used. In astronomy, the Julian year is a unit of time, defined as exactly 365.25 days each of exactly 70048640000000086,400 SI seconds, totaling 70073155760000000 31,557,600 seconds. The word year is also used of periods loosely associated with but not strictly identical to either the astronomical or the calendar year, such as the seasonal year, the fiscal year or the academic year, etc. By extension, the term year can mean the orbital period of any planet. For example, a Martian year or Venusian year is the time in which Mars or, respectively, Venus completes its own orbit. The term can also be used in reference to any long period or cycle, such as the Great Year. Etymology: West Saxon gear, Anglian ger continues Proto-Germanic *J ran, cognate to German jar, Old High German jar, Old North and Gothic jar, all from a pi *rom, year, season. Cognates outside of Germanic are Avestan Jahr, year, Greek Rho alpha, year, season, period of time, Old Church Slavonic Jaru and Latin hornness, of this year. Latin annus is from a pi noun *no, which also yielded Gothic athn, year. Both ******* and ****no are based on verbal roots expressing movement, ****ha and ****ha respectively, both meaning to go, generally. The Greek word for year, tau micron sigma, is cognate with Latin vetus, old, from pi ****vetus, year, also preserved in this meaning in Sanskrit vatsar, yearling, and vatsaras, year. Derived from Latin annus are a number of English words, such as annual, annuity, anniversary, etc. Per annum means each year. Anno Domini means in the year of the Lord. Civil year. A calendar year is the time between two dates with the same name in a calendar. No astronomical year has an integer number of days or lunar months. So any calendar that follows an astronomical year must have a system of intercalation such as leap years. Financial and scientific calculations often use a 365-day calendar to simplify daily rates. In international calendars in the Julian calendar, the average length of a year is 365.25 days. In a non-leap year, there are 365 days. In a leap year, there are 366 days. A leap year occurs every 4th year. During a leap year, leap day takes place in the month of February. The term leap day is applied to the day that is added. The Gregorian calendar tracks the mean tropical year. In particular, it seeks to ensure that the astronomical vernal equinox falls no later than the 21st of March. Since this oscillates within a 53-hour range, it is therefore most likely to fall on the 20th of March. The mean length of the calendar year is 365.2425 days. This is within 1 ppm of the current length of the mean tropical year. Since AD 800, the vernal equinox year has been longer than the mean tropical year. The astronomical equinox is moving towards its mean date. The mean calendar year is longer than both the mean tropical year and the vernal equinox year. The reason being that the tables used by the papal astronomers were based on historical observations, and over centuries tidal drag slows the Earth's diurnal rotation. Clavius noted that the tables did not agree on when the Sun passed through the vernal equinox. As a result of this slowing down, the equinox will never reach the 22nd of March. The revised Julian calendar, as used in some Eastern Orthodox churches, currently does a better job of synchronizing with the mean tropical year. The average length of this calendar's year is 70023652422222365.242222 days. Gregorian and revised Julian calendars will start to differ in 2800. A calendar era is used to assign a number to individual years, using a reference point in the past as the beginning of the era. In many countries, the most common era is from the traditional year of the birth of Jesus. Dates in this era are designated Anno Domini, abbreviated AD, or CE. The year before 01 AD or CE is designated 1 before Christ or before the Common Era. The year before that 02 BC, BCE, etc. Hence there was no year 00 AD, CE. When computations involving years are done involving both years AD and years BC, it is common to use astronomical year numbering, in which 01 BC is designated 0, 02 BC is designated -1, and so on. Other eras are also used to enumerate the years in different cultural, religious or scientific contexts. In the Persian calendar, in use in Afghanistan and Iran, has its year begin at the midnight closest to the instant of the northward equinox as determined by astronomical computation, as opposed to using an algorithmic system of leap years. Fiscal year. A fiscal year or financial year is a 12-month period used for calculating annual financial statements in businesses and other organizations. In many jurisdictions, regulations regarding accounting require such reports once per 12 months, but do not require that the 12 months constitute a calendar year. For example, in Canada and India the fiscal year runs from April 1st. In the United Kingdom it runs from April 1st for purposes of corporation tax and government financial statements, but from April 6th for purposes of personal taxation and payment of state benefits. In Australia, it runs from July 1st, while in the United States the fiscal year of the federal government runs from October 1st. Academic year. An academic year is the annual period during which a student attends an educational institution. The academic year may be divided into academic terms, such as semesters or quarters. The school year in many countries starts in August or September and ends in May, June or July. In Israel the academic year begins around October or November, aligned with the second month of the Hebrew calendar. Some schools in the UK and USA divide the academic year into 3 roughly equal-length terms, roughly coinciding with autumn, winter, and spring. At some, a shortened summer session, sometimes considered part of the regular academic year, is attended by students on a voluntary or elective basis. Other schools break the year into 2 main semesters, a first and a second semester. Each of these main semesters may be split in half by midterm exams, and each of the halves is referred to as a quarter. There may also be a voluntary summer session or a short January session. Some other schools, including some in the United States, have 4 marking periods. Some schools in the United States, notably Boston Latin School, may divide the year into 5 or more marking periods. Some state in defense of this that there is perhaps a positive correlation between report frequency and academic achievement. There are typically 180 days of teaching each year in schools in the USA, excluding weekends and breaks, while there are 190 days for pupils in state schools in Canada, New Zealand and the United Kingdom, and 200 for pupils in Australia. In India, the academic year normally starts from June 1 and ends on May 31. Though schools start closing from mid-March, the actual academic closure is on May 31, and in Nepal it starts from July 15. Schools and universities in Australia typically have academic years that roughly align with the calendar year, as the Southern Hemisphere experiences summer from December to February. In the International System of Quantities the year is defined as either 365 days or 366 days. Astronomical years. Julian year. The Julian year, as used in astronomy and other sciences, is a time unit defined as exactly 365.25 days. This is the normal meaning of the unit, year, used in various scientific contexts. The Julian century of 70043652500000000 36,525 days, and the Julian millennium of 700536525000000 365,250 days are used in astronomical calculations. Fundamentally, expressing a time interval in Julian years is a way to precisely specify how many days. For long time intervals where stating the number of days would be unwieldy and unintuitive. By convention, the Julian year is used in the computation of the distance covered by a light year. In the Unified Code for Units of Measure, the symbol A always refers to the Julian year AJ of exactly 70073155760000000 31,557,600 seconds. 365.25 days of 700486400000000 86,400 seconds equals 1 or equals 1 AJ equals 700131557600000 31.5576 megaseconds. The SI multiplier prefixes may be applied to it to form car, ma, etc. Sidereal, tropical, and anomalistic years. Each of these 3 years can be loosely called an astronomical year. The sidereal year is the time taken for the Earth to complete one revolution of its orbit, as measured against a fixed frame of reference. Its average duration is 7002365256363004000 365.25636300 mean solar days. Today the mean tropical year is defined as the period of time for the mean ecliptic longitude of the Sun to increase by 360 degrees. Since the Sun's ecliptic longitude is measured with respect to the equinox, the tropical year comprises a complete cycle of the seasons, because of the biological and socio-economic importance of the seasons. The tropical year is the basis of most calendars. The modern definition of mean tropical year differs from the actual time between passages of, e.g., the northward equinox for several reasons explained below. Because of the Earth's axial precession, this year is about 20 minutes shorter than the sidereal year. The mean tropical year is approximately 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes, 45 seconds, using the modern definition. The anomalistic year is the time taken for the Earth to complete one revolution with respect to its apsides. The orbit of the Earth is elliptical. The extreme points, called apsides, are the perihelion, where the Earth is closest to the Sun, and the aphelion, where the Earth is farthest from the Sun. The anomalistic year is usually defined as the time between perihelion passages. Its average duration is
7002365259636,365.259636 Draconic year. The draconic year, draconitic year, eclipse year, or ecliptic year is the time taken for the Sun to complete one revolution with respect to the same lunar node. This period is associated with eclipses. These occur only when both the Sun and the Moon are near these nodes, so eclipses occur within about a month of every half eclipse year. Hence there are 2 eclipse seasons every eclipse year. The average duration of the eclipse year is 70023466200000346.6200758883 days. This term is sometimes erroneously used for the draconic or nodal period of lunar precession. That is the period of a complete revolution of the Moon's ascending node around the ecliptic. 7011861281593200018.61281593 Julian years. Full moon cycle. The full moon cycle is the time for the Sun to complete one revolution with respect to the perigee of the Moon's orbit. This period is associated with the apparent size of the full moon, and also with the varying duration of the synodic month. The duration of one full moon cycle is 702411784430290000411.78443029 days. Lunar year. The lunar year comprises 12 full cycles of the phases of the Moon, as seen from Earth. It has a duration of approximately 354.37 days. Muslims use this for celebrating their Eid and for marking the start of the fasting month of Ramadan. A Muslim calendar year is based on the lunar cycle. Vague year. The vague year, from annus vagus or wandering year, is an integral approximation to the year equaling 365 days, which wanders in relation to more exact years. Typically the vague year is divided into 12 schematic months of 30 days each plus 5 epigomenal days. The vague year was used in the calendars of ancient Egypt, Iran, Armenia and in Mesoamerica among the Aztecs and Maya. It is still used by many Zoroastrian communities. Heliacal year. A heliacal year is the interval between the heliacal risings of a star. It differs from the sidereal year for stars away from the ecliptic due mainly to the precession of the equinoxes. Zodiac year. The zodiac year is the interval between heliacal risings of the star Sirius. It is currently less than the sidereal year and its duration is very close to the mean Julian year of 365.25 days. Gaussian year. The Gaussian year is the sidereal year for a planet of negligible mass and unperturbed by other planets that is governed by the Gaussian gravitational constant. Such a planet would be slightly closer to the Sun than Earth's mean distance. Its length is 702365256898365.2568983 days. Bessalian year. The Bessalian year is a tropical year that starts when the mean Sun reaches an ecliptic longitude of 280 degrees. This is currently on or close to January 1st. It is named after the 19th century German astronomer and mathematician Friedrich Bessel. The following equation can be used to compute the current Bessalian epoch. B equals 1900.0 plus 702365241987810000365.242198781. The TT subscript indicates that for this formula, the Julian date should use the terrestrial time scale, or its predecessor, ephemeris time. Variation in the length of the year and the day. The exact length of an astronomical year changes over time. The positions of the equinox and solstice points with respect to the apsides of Earth's orbit change. The equinoxes and solstices move westward relative to the stars because of precession, and the apsides move in the other direction because of the long-term effects of gravitational pull by the other planets. since the speed of the Earth varies according to its position in its orbit as measured from its perihelion. Earth's speed when in a solstice or equinox point changes over time. If such a point moves toward perihelion, the interval between two passages decreases a little from year to year. If the point moves towards aphelion, that period increases a little from year to year. So if tropical year, measured from one passage of the northward equinox to the next, differs from the one measured between passages of the southward equinox, the average over the full orbit does not change because of this. So the length of the average tropical year does not change because of this second-order effect. Each planet's movement is perturbed by the gravity of every other planet. This leads to short-term fluctuations in its speed, and therefore its period from year to year. Moreover, it causes long-term changes in its orbit, and therefore also long-term changes in these periods. Tidal drag between the Earth and the Moon and Sun increases the length of the day and of the month, since the apparent mean solar day is the unit with which we measure the length of the year in civil life. The length of the year appears to decrease. The rotation rate of the Earth is also changed by factors such as post-glacial rebound and sea level rise. Numerical value of year variation. Mean year lengths in this section are calculated for 2000, and differences in year lengths, compared to 2000, are given for past and future years. In the tables, a day is 86,400 SI seconds long. Summary: an average Gregorian year is 365.2425 days. For this calendar, a common year is 365 days, and a leap year is 366 days. The 400-year cycle of the Gregorian calendar has 70051460970000146,097 days, and hence exactly 70042087100000000 20,871 weeks. Greater astronomical years. Equinoctial cycle. The great year, or equinoctial cycle, corresponds to a complete revolution of the equinoxes around the ecliptic. Its length is about 25,700 years, and cannot be determined precisely as the precession speed is variable. Galactic year. The galactic year is the time it takes Earth's solar system to revolve once around the galactic center. It comprises roughly 230 million Earth years. Seasonal year. A seasonal year is the time between successive recurrences of a seasonal event such as the flooding of a river, the migration of a species of bird, the flowering of a species of plant, the first frost, or the first scheduled game of a certain sport. All of these events can have wide variations of more than a month from year to year.